Welcome, and thank you for joining us in Season 2 of the Let's Meet the Author Show. This is the online show that introduces self-published authors to the world. So let's join in on the conversation with our hosts and guest author.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Let's Meet the Author Show. Today, I have my co-host, Shira.
Hi, everybody.
And I'm Galene. Thank you again for joining us tonight. All right, we are doing a virtual interview. That's right, a virtual interview. From what I understand, he is in Toledo, Ohio. Is that correct?
No, Adrian, Michigan.
Adrian, Michigan.
Close to Toledo.
Thank you for coming to me.
Close.
But the best part is that this young man is a success story. And the reason being is that when you read his book, he's very transparent, all right, of where he came from, what he went through, and where he's at now.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to brag about him a little bit, Shira. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
From what I understand in his book, he went from selling drugs, smoking weed, cigarettes, acid, popping pills, drinking alcohol, cocaine, pronounced dead at 19, to now being a success. Gerod, all right, am I saying his name correct? Gerod, right? He successfully opened Legacy Barber College with full capacity, and it has a waiting list, right?
Nice.
He made history in his city as not only the first Black-owned barber college, but the first barber college ever to be established in the city and surrounding areas.
Wow.
He is doing awesome. We're going to go ahead and bring him on in just a minute. He is the author of Lost, Now Found, Finding Freedom from Addiction. Let's welcome Gerod Sturgis.
This is going to be a good one. I'm excited.
Awesome. I'm like, man, who is this guy?
Awesome, right?
Wow. So how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on the show, both of you ladies. So I really appreciate it. So I'm excited.
Yes. I read your book, and the favorite parts are the poems for me. Those are my favorite parts. And we're going to talk about that. You guys are going to know exactly what I'm talking about. But oh my goodness, spoken word, those poems, they are awesome. They are awesome. Very, very, exactly. Very, very touching, very real. And that's what I like. You didn't sugarcoat anything. So thank you for being transparent about your life, about your journey, and where to the point where you got here now. So I have a whole bunch of questions. I didn't know if Shira wanted to start off first.
My thing is, of course, people always want to know why. So why did you write the book?
Well, the book was always in me, and I made a vow to God on Halloween Day when I was pronounced dead on arrival that if you save me, I promise that I will not keep it a secret. I will not hide the gospel underneath a bowl, or I will get it out to the masses. And a part of that is me sharing my story, because the Bible says you defeat the enemy by the blood of the Lamb and the power of your testimony. So the best way that I could feel on putting it out into the masses is by putting it in a book. And again, you'll hear later about me doing music and everything. So, and I've been trying to get it out for years, but I never sat still long enough to actually write it.
Man, you did, and it's great. It's filled with poems, scriptures, discussion questions, and a workbook. One of my favorite parts is that the workbook is in the book, so it's not separate, so I can do along with it, so I don't run the risk of losing one, Right. And you include it in there. So when you guys get it, you'll see that he has workbook questions in here, he has workbook activities. It's awesome.
And that's what stuck out to me. Would you get everything in that one book? So you get to read the chapter, and then you ask questions about the chapter and how it affected the person. So you don't get that with all books. So I thought that was very good.
Exactly.
I actually, wrote this like during the pandemic, because like the world was at a standstill, and I was able to kind of get everything out. And my wife, she's a key asset with everything I do. And
hey, Stephanie.
she was like, "Hey, it'd be kind of good if we just put it all together in the workbook." And I had a guy who was running a recovery home, and he was like, "Hey, do you have this in the workbook?" And I'm like, no, I don't yet, but it's about to be. And so he kind of gave me the idea, like, man, it'd be cool if you get it all together at one and then send it to me by this date, such and such, because a lot of men, we can go over this and put it in a group home and we can have an open discussion. So I'm like, after they go over, the chapter, let me have it where it can be an open forum so they can kind of talk and discuss and then kind of be able to open it up, pull out the layers a little bit and kind of relate a little bit in the aspect.
It works. It really works. So to me, what stuck out is that in the book, throughout the book, you kept emphasizing that explains the importance of knowing and recognizing your identity and how that affects your environment. And then another, how relationship. There was a part in the book that I want to talk about, but I want to do that after we take a short commercial break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Are you fed up with not finding any good books to read? And is finding great Black authors taking up too much of your time? We have just the solution for you. Let's meet the author. It's self-published authors. If you are an author, sign up to be a guest on our show by using our QR code, or check us out at www.letsmeettheauthor.com.
Welcome back. All right, thank you for staying with us throughout commercial break. We are here today with Gerod Sturgis, the author of Lost, Now Found, Finding Freedom from Addiction. So before we went on break, I was talking about how you made such an important thing about how your identity is very important. It affects your environment, how relationship is important. And one part about relationship, right? When you said partnership, fellowship, relationship, and you said, if you notice, each one ends with the word ship, and ship takes you either here, there. I never thought about it that way, because every relationship, partnership, fellowship, it takes you somewhere. It can either take you to the left or it can take you to the right. So why point that out? Why is that so important?
It's very important, the way that God gave it to me, that this whole world is based upon relationships. He wired it from the beginning of the garden, and when he said it's not good that man be alone. So that was the first partnership, and the enemy has always been after family since then. And so, and if you look into marriage, the enemy want to divide in marriage. You want to divide on your job. So you're always going to have some type of relationship with your boss, with your mate, with your relatives, your families. And if you don't have a pure and a connection with God to understanding what a relationship is, you can kind of go into it and get the wrong concept in it, or you might have certain issues in relationships where it can kind of damage you, and people don't know how to bounce back from that unless they don't have the Holy Spirit to kind of lead them and guide them. And so, my biggest thing I always say that, relationships are like elevators. They can either take you up or they take you down. You just have to know where you want to get off of. So
there was one unique relationship that you mentioned that you had with your boss or with your manager when you were working at Rent-A-Center. And I was like, he didn't give up on you. He did not give up on you. You guys had that relationship that no matter what all the other employees or the coworkers, man, get rid of Gerod. He's tripping. And the relationship that you had with your boss prevented you from letting him give up on you, and you give up on yourself.
He saw something in him.
He did. He saw potential in you. He did.
You really read the book, yeah.
I did.
Yeah, he played a key role into the decision that I made coming to Michigan. Because had it not been for him, I mean, like in Rent-A-Center, you had to go with whatever the regional director says, play the music that they play, kind of do the rules and laws and guidelines and all that kind of stuff like that. But he allowed me to play my album through there, and he was like, you know what? One day you're gonna do this, one day you're gonna do that. So just keep on. I believe in you. I'm like, okay. And, you know, he
even opened his doors to you.
He did.
No boss that I know.
Exactly.
the doors, like, let me use his car. And I'm like, man, this is like, man, I felt bad after I did all of that. And I'm like, man, that was God showing me his love.
Yes.
I'll come through the walls if you doubt me, Thomas. So, you know, I just really feel like, man, that was really powerful.
Yep. And there was a part where you mentioned, so while I was reading this part in your book, I was laughing at you at the same time. I'm going to be perfectly honest. Because there was a part, you made your song, right? You had it on the CD, right? You know what I'm about to talk about. So
that was funny.
He's still doing him, right? He's still doing, you know, the drugs and the things, right? So we're going to talk about that in just a minute. We're going to take a short commercial break and we're going to talk about it. We'll be right back.
Your donations are needed to support the production of the Let's Meet the Author show. We interview talented self-published authors and expose them to the world. Thank you so much for your generous contributions. All donations are tax deductible. And now, back to the Let's Meet the Author show.
Thank you for staying with us. I know you guys are ready to hear what I am laughing and about to tease Gerod about. So he's a music artist. So check him out. Definitely check him out, and you'll see what I mean. But he wrote this. He wrote a song, right? But yeah, he's still running from God, right? He's running, and he admitted he's running. So that's why I'm so happy that you were transparent. He's like, this is what I was doing. So, but he's running.
Before you get into the story, one thing that's funny about God is he will chase you down.
Yes, he will.
He will put people in places, just like he did.
He did 5 times, Gerod. 5 times in your book, God's like, all right, Gerod, I need you to do this, and you're like, yeah, what up? Put your hoodie on. Going to do your business, right? Put your glasses on, trying to hide. And then someone tried to say, oh yeah, let's listen to this song and stuff. And the song happened to be Gerod's song that the other person was trying to impersonate. And then so Gerod called him out. First event. Then another event is in the strip club, y'all. So, when someone called him out and said that he was a man of God and called him out. And so that was another event. So all these events, but yet you kept running. And I'm laughing. I'm like, Gerod, God is clearly talking to you. And that's where I'm teasing you at, because you did everything. So let's talk about that. Because it happened 5 times. I counted. I went back.
I started counting too. Like, hold on, this is happening a lot.
Right. And thing is, it was like back to back.
And he wasn't even, like, you weren't even in your hometown. You had went somewhere where nobody even knew
nobody
you.
was supposed to know him.
Whole nother city. Nobody knew me. I had a whole different name. 2 different names. And I'm like, man, how do they know? Like, this is, yeah. Okay, I get it, God. I felt like Jonah, so I get it. You know, so yeah, so the first little situation, you know, I was running from God because I just got off of a 52 city tour. I did gospel rap, so like my album was all over, national and international. And so I come back, you know, I went through, you know, a divorce, and I try to bounce back, and I was just, everything that I trusted and every person that I trusted, you know, I felt that it let me down. So I kind of like felt like, you know, at one point we're like, hey, you know, why don't I just curse God and die type feeling? But I never would want to, you know, do that. But I felt Noah in that position, and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna go. And I was trying to sell drugs. I tried to go party. Everywhere I went, it was like his presence was there. Yes. I'm going to the club and I'm feeling them. I'm like, man, I don't even belong here. I felt marked, so I go to a strip club and here I get this. And I'm like, you know, like, hey, you know, my son had your CD and, you know, you got saved and the girl's no longer here no more that you always. I said, man, what is going on? Like, and then I go sell drugs and the guy come back, here's a tape player, you know, or CD player. So I'm telling my age how long it's been. You know, he got a CD player. He's like, you can have this, I don't have money, but let me hear, I want you to hear the song that I wrote. And then I'm like, what? Then I start reciting the song.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, yeah, this is me, man. He said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I can't even sell drugs. I feel like a bad drug dealer. So I like, God, I'm sorry. Then yeah, it was a scenario after scenario. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop running. So I sat down long enough to hear what he had to say.
I'm glad you did, because I was laughing. I said, my goodness. But you know what? You're not by yourself. We all have done that, right?
Yeah.
We have literally, I know I'm teasing you, but I've done that. You know, everyone has done that where he'll just put, I mean, they're blatantly clear and we're still like, nope, nope,
Yeah.
nope. For whatever
Yeah.
reasons that we have, we do, you know, we keep running and running and running. My goodness. Oh my goodness. In this one part, I know how you refer to your pastor or your apostle. He also wrote a book called The Blueprint. So, Gerod, you have homework. You have to bring your pastor on the show to talk about his book. That's it. You have to do that assignment. I gave you homework. But you talked about how in his book he said, know God, know yourself, know your assignment. And the formula he uses is intimacy, identity, and destiny. And then you said, ask yourself, how can you know yourself without knowing the one who created you? And then you made that point throughout your book. You can't go to a friend, you can't go to families, because you have to go to the manufacturer, which is God, because he's the one who created you.
Absolutely.
Why did you keep pointing that out throughout your book?
The reason why I did that, because a lot of times, just like if you buy anything from the store, you got to look at, okay, first the manufacturer and where it came from. And if you have any type of malfunction, we always tend to go to our homeboy on the phone or the girlfriend on the phone to try to fix a problem that only God can create. I mean, God can fix, because he's the one that knows you, because he created you. You were made in his image, made in his likeness. But if we are going to if I'm trying to get marriage counseling from somebody who's single,
Right.
and don't know God, then what type of advice am I going to get? And I always refer to that back to that, because of the simple fact that he has the best interest for your life, and he knows what you are here for. He said, you are made in my image fearfully, and you are wonderfully made. So, so therefore he took his time out to really detail this. So I always made that a reference points to go back to that.
It's very important. It is very, very important. Very important. Another one of my favorite parts that you wrote in your book is chapter 9, when you said GPS. So first, so I had to look up what GPS meant, right? So I was like, okay, so according to, the internet and definition, GPS stands for Global Positioning System. But you stated that GPS is gaining personal success. And then he said in his book, he said, you can never go to your destination without first recognizing your location. Then he goes throughout the chapter, he broke it down. So I want everyone to get his book so they can go ahead and read what he meant. But can you talk about that just a little bit, what you meant by you can never go to your destination without first recognizing your location?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. That piece right there is so big. I didn't made it an online course, and I also made it, like its own separate workbook where I train people in that. But that piece right there is like, we always want to know our destination. So we go to school and we want to know where we're going to graduate, where we're going to live at, who our husband, who our wives are, that nice house, that nice picket fence, whatever. But then we realize, like, we didn't going after destiny, and we don't even really know who we are, and we don't know who we are because we don't know who he is. So it's like we're chasing, the wrong thing. So, before you can go to your destination, find out where you are at first, because you can't automatically go to a place and ignore all the red flags that you're dealing with right now.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of people just want to ignore where they are at and ignore where they at and go to a place thinking that all that stuff is going to get erased, and it's not.
And it's not. And the awesome thing about it is also bringing up what you put in your book, God will meet you where you're at. So whether it's a strip club, whether it's doing the drug deal in the car, he gonna meet you where you at. And when I was reading your book, he met me literally in my home, because I work from home, in my home office. And I'm going, wow, okay. Recognizing my location, because sometimes we don't feel like we're worth it because we don't know our identity. And you blatantly said, okay, you have to know your worth. You have to know who you are in God. And then we'll go from there. So we're about to do another favorite part. So I'm super excited about this part. It's usually my favorite part, which is the author's pick, where you get to hear the author read a portion of their book. But he has written poems throughout the book. And from what I understand, he's an awesome curator at doing spoken word. So this part is going to be super exciting. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
And now, back to the Let's Meet the Author show.
Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Meet the Author. You're going to want to stick around for this spoken word. Let's get ready with Gerod and Author's Pick.
Hello, everybody. My name is Gerod Sturgis, aka Gerod. Listen, I will be reading a poem out of my book, Lost Now Found, and the poem name will be called Depression. Here we go. Sometimes I wonder why the sky is blue. Sometimes people also wonder why I do the things that I do. You see, I can't explain. That's like when you get hurt, why is it followed by pain? Life has its own issues. Deep inside, you feel misused, surrounded by wet tissues. Go ahead, in your life, no one will miss you. Don't let Satan trick you. Praying to God for help. You're surrounded by people, but you're all by yourself. Feeling forsaken, thoughts taken, abused, and mistaken. Time is wasting, people hating. Lord, what is this that I'm facing? I'm at the end of the road. I'm at the end of the rope. What's this disguise or this blessing? I don't know. Lord, if I don't receive anything in this life, please erase, remove this depression.
Told y'all wanted to stick around.
That was just a little bit. The rest you got to read the book. I'm not gonna give you no.
Oh no!
I agree. Oh my goodness.
Depression.
So, Gerod, why read that poem as part of the author's pick?
Well, the reason why, because no addict or nobody addicted, nobody who's dealing with trauma, nobody who's dealing with pain, wake up saying, "Hey, I want to feel this way."
Mm-hmm.
It something happened in their life, something they was exposed to. You know, I talk about experiences, exposures, and environments, and that's how a lot of people become addicted. Mm-hmm. And and then they get depressed, and so they stay there. And so, and then also depression is on an all-time high after this pandemic took place. Yeah. So I chose to use that piece to kind of, go inside with the actual book, Lost Now Found, because I don't want to just talk about being lost. I want to talk about the solution.
Yes. Yes, I agree. Because when you talk about your story and your journey, and your life experiences, you're very transparent. And I know I said it before, but again, I definitely appreciate you doing that, because you're not the only one going through. Many people are going through this. Yes, thousands of people are going through what you went through, not what you're going through, what you went through, and you gave them a way out. You talk about it in your book. Hopefully they read it and then they apply it, because I don't want you guys, all my readers, all my viewers, don't only read it and then put it back on the shelf. Work through it, apply it, all right? It is very, very beneficial.
And like you said, they're already going through it at the recovery center. So that alone speaks volumes that those were addicts, but they're getting better and doing better because of your book.
Exactly. Man, so Shira, guess what?
What?
We have another treat coming up.
Our surprise for the evening is here, and I am so glad that I have the pleasure to introduce Stephanie. Stephanie, we grew up in the church together. She knows my parents. I know her parents. She knows my siblings. I know her siblings. She sung on my dad's CD. She does work for my mom. So I am so honored to introduce Stephanie.
This is called Today. Today, I stopped waiting for the heavens to open up and a mighty voice to tell me that my time is now. Today, I stopped waiting for someone to see the potential in me and for them to pull it out. Today, I stopped waiting for those who hurt me to beg my forgiveness and fall at my feet. Today, I stopped waiting for my dreams to become reality without any major effort from me. Today, I stopped waiting for my passion and fire for God to be renewed and rekindled fervently. Today, I stopped waiting for a visitation from the Holy Spirit without inviting him to me. See, when Christ hung on the cross, he bowed his head. And the last words that he said before they couldn't find him dead was, "It is finished." He paid it all, ransom. His perfect life for mine, jaded and flawed. God, you paid such a heavy price for the cost of my life for me to ever feel like I'm worthless. This hopelessness that holds onto my mind from the woes of life, feeling broken inside, constantly reminded of my failures, my errors, echoing words of defeat. There's a war going on inside of me, and the battlefields in my mind got me on my knees. My dreams, my goals, ambitions, my drive, they all died. But when my failures collide with your grace, I come alive. At the point of surrender where I seek your face is when I stop waiting for what you've already done. Today, I stopped waiting because I realized that you were waiting on me. Today, I stopped waiting for my freedom because when you hung your head, you already broke those chains for me. Went down to hell, took them keys. All power is in your hands and you tossed them to me. And when I looked down, I realized those chains were already at my feet. The thought of my defeat was deceit. Today, I stopped waiting for an opportunity to present itself. When you've given me gifts and abilities that I can use myself, today I start receiving every promise you made to me. Today, I start believing everything you said I could be. Today, I choose you. I choose love. I choose peace. Today, I'll start moving in what you have for me. Today, I stop waiting.
Stephanie, that poem, Today, that's all.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Beautiful. Beautiful. My goodness. I didn't know she was a poet as well.
Yes.
So this is a
amazing
power
poet.
couple, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, Sturgis. I
Yes.
see y'all. Loving it, loving it. Oh my goodness. From understand, so that is not the only poem you have written. You have written other poems, is that correct?
Oh, yes. I love poetry. That's actually how we met.
Oh, you got to tell us this, because this is Let's Meet the Author, and we're meeting. So go ahead and talk about that.
Me and a few of my friends were hosting open mics in Toledo. And with Dry, he talked about he'd been on a 50-city tour. Well, the tour landed him in the Detroit area. And he heard about it. He ended up, was out here in Adrian. And he heard about the events we were doing in Toledo. And he came down and heard one of my poems.
Oh,
that's how you got
that's how
him.
you got him. It worked. Look at him.
We'll go with that for right now.
Yeah, he'll tell you what he's on.
If you want to know the true story, read the book.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Stephanie, so much for making an appearance on the show. We genuinely appreciate it. We really do.
Stephanie, we know that your journal is sold out, but just let's hear where we can purchase the books when they come back, as well as you, Gerod.
Well, they can be found on my website. It's StephanieSturgis.com. That's StephanieSturgis. My mama didn't want an E at the end. So yeah, there's no E in the Stephanie, but that's where you find a planner, and it's for moms to get it together. So that's what it's called, the Getting It Together plan. And it has a lot of things in it for meal planning, chore charts, goal digging journal in there. And so it's a lot of tools and nuggets for moms to live victoriously. So
Good.
And what about you, Gerod? Where can they find your book or books?
Sure. Gerod, GerodSturgis.com. So they can find everything right there. I have the book on there. I have my online course that is on there as well. I own a barber college, so I do like online barbering there. So I do a lot of things. My music, you can find my music, and you can find like some positive quotes on there. What I call like some gold nuggets, like 30-second nuggets, like motivational talk. So it's a bunch of stuff that you can find right there. Yep.
Nice. Well, thank you so much. Everyone will be right back. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hi, I have a very important announcement to make to anyone who loves books and loves to read, or anyone who is a fan of writers and loves supporting Black self-published authors. Let me be the first to introduce you to the Let's Meet the Author show. Our host Galene interviews authors and digs deep into their books, and most importantly, the conversation is not only about their book, but the turning point that led them to write the book. You are invited on behalf of our producer, Alice Newsom, and our team, Tiffany, Michael, Shira, Eric, Samaya and China, and our supporting team members to join us every Tuesday evening at 7:00 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube and Instagram. Join our group and get notified each time we broadcast, so consider this a personal invitation to join the conversation, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.
Thank you for staying with us. This is the Let's Meet the Author show. We had Gerod. Gerod's going to go ahead and end the show with a quote. All right, spoken word quote. Go ahead and hit us with it, Gerod.
Spoken word quote.
Yeah.
I would say one of my quotes that's in my book and as part of my spoken word is tap into the real you, which is on the inside of you. So you got to dig on the inside of you and get the real you out of you.
There you go. There you go. All right. So now I think I'm going to be a poet, maybe. So I'm going to steal one sentence. Usually I give my own quote, right? But I'm going to steal a sentence from your book because it impacted me. All right. So here's my stolen word, right?
I got to add you in my next book.
There you go. There you go. Significance is when you are so valuable that the world cannot function properly without your impact.
Yes.
I'm going to say it again. Significance is when you are so valuable that the world cannot function properly without your impact. That's my quote that I took from this book because it hit me. I mean, we're going to say, I had some hand in it. Wink, wink. All right. Again, this is Galene, your host with Let's Meet the Author.
And I'm Shira.
You guys have a great night. See you soon. Bye.
The Let's Meet the Author show is a production of Blue Rock Media Incorporated, in association with Eagle-EyeVideomaker, and is made possible with generous donations by viewers like you.